Hello, dear listeners. It is my video dedicated for teaching how to write an answer to IELTS Part 1, the pie chart questions. So, it is a through step-by-step tutorial. And in this video, you can learn so many things. And one of the greatest secrets that no one has ever told you before. So, without further ado, let's dive deep into this task. So, first thing you're gonna do when you are under exam condition, you have to read the question. You have to read the description about the pie chart. So, it says the given graph shows the main source of energy for USA in 1980 in 1990, and you have to write a report for a university lecturer making comparison. Actually, it should be the highlight of our writing, where relevant and reporting main features, right? So, and then after thoroughly reading the entire question, you have to look at the pie chart itself. So it describes, it actually displays two different periods, as you can see here. And you have to analyze the data. So, increases and decreases, stabilization, in case there is any. And also you have to determine whether uh, there is a major, change in the proportion of the, data. So, and then after making a quick analysis, after learning what happened throughout the period, you have to collectively categorize the similar data sets in order to make comparisons or making contrasts. For example, so as you can see here in the first pie chart, it is totally tangible that the main source of energy, came from oil, maybe crude oil. And then the proportion of, oil, decrease it in the next period. So that is the first thing I should consider when it comes to categorizing. So that means practically I need to categorize similar data sets together. For example, the major, the sources with highest amount, highest percentage, or highest proportion, I have to um, describe them inside one paragraph. For example, it can be writing down about oil and writing down about natural gas and coal could be one paragraph, and the remaining two sources of energy um, could be written in the second paragraph. So, and it is practically like this when it comes to paragraphing your ideas. And then after determining just what to write down inside each paragraph, you have to start writing for writing start writing from the introductory part. So as introductory part, you have to write, actually have to paraphrase the question, but as long as you are aiming for the higher mark, you need to actually add an extra detail, basically relying on how you interpret the data as looking at these two pie charts. So let's say I may write like this and actually, duplicating what I just have written here. You can create your own just looking at mine. So I would say the given or um is shown. Let's see, is shown um or maybe illustrated graphs presents as through comparison, or maybe through overview, let's say. Energy generated from, so we have um, 5 different types of energy. I mean sources where energy created from. So generated from, let's say, 5 different sources in America. So to, let's say, in so my introductory part reads as this. The illustrated graphs present a thorough overview of energy generated from 5 different sources in America in specific 2 periods. So I'm referring to specific 2 periods, just simply rephrasing 1980 and 1990. Instead of saying shows, I said I've written like the illustrated graphs present. Or you can use passive voice instead of just specifically detailing information in active voice. So that gives you higher mark for grammar. So, and I have to also add an extra detail just for, um, increase my word count and also add more sophistication level to my writing. So, as it is reflected in pie charts, I would state, I would start my next sentence just saying, as it is reflected, as it is reflected on the pie charts, the amount of the proportion, let's say, yes, energy sources are calculated as it is reflected in the pie charts. The proportion of energy sources are calculated in percentages. So that also gives a reader much thought about the measurements, or he can say calculate instead of saying calculated, measured. Let's say to be specific, measure it in percentages. Okay, let's move on to our overview paragraph. So in an overview paragraph, you can write basically anything that stands out from other, let's say other sources or other categories, whatever you are given. For example, if you are given to write about the production of, let's say, chocolate, the proportion of chocolate in different countries, let's say America, United Kingdom, and Brazil, and where you can see different digits, right? Different percentages. So you can basically write about the most significant, the most evident data, the most evident to the naked eye, whatever actually visible to naked eye inside your writing. So I can see in the first, pie chart, oil just made up the highest proportion of the entire pie chart. And in the next period, it also secured that its own position, that its own status, or maybe um, dominated the America energy production sources, maybe, right? Yeah, something like that. And natural gas also typically held the second position, and third position was taken over by coal, and the remaining fourth and fifth positions um, was secured by, let's say, um, nuclear power and hydroelectric power. So my overview is going to be kind of like this, as you can write it, as you can read it right here. So let me start with in general. Always actually, there is a free template for you. Basically, everybody starts writing an overview with in general, or simply writing overall. So in general, though, um, oil accounted for the highest proportion in all periods, in both periods, let's say, in both periods. And this followed by followed by coal, um, albeit it is being to so and we have three remaining different sources of energy here: natural gas, natural gas, and okay, let's say natural gas. Um, let's say Las Res securing. So, um, let's give it a rate here. In general, oil accounted for the highest proportion in both periods, and this followed by coal, albeit it is being inferior to natural gas in the first period. Natural gas lost its popularity in the period, securing at its third place. Securing, yes, third place, and the remaining two forms of energy, hydroelectric power and nuclear power, held very least, let's say very little percentage. So, as you can read it here, I'm trying to convey what is, the entire pie chart's about, right? So you have to write like this. If you miss some points, let's say if you don't highlight, like if you miss like highlighting the nuclear power, if you don't state anything about whatever data set or categories are about, you're going to lose marks for that, because great overview, that means like you have a potential to get higher mark for that. If your overview is weak, that means you cannot get whatever, uh, mark, or just whatever band score you are pursuing for. So that is super important to write very great overview. Also, it is equally important to write a great paragraph. So let me help you to write one paragraph for oil production and natural gas. And I'm gonna be just recording another video containing this, pie chart. As our time limited for today, I'm going to be just simply writing a sample, paragraph for oil and natural gas. And if you like my video, if you kind of learned something new from my video, just leave your support, leave your likes below the video, or just comment below the video, so that it empowers me to send more videos like this. So, let's get started. And I'm gonna write my first paragraph with exact adverb, specifically. So, specifically, that means I'm particularly talking about one exact element, oil. So that is a great way to, refer to something specific, because like we said in our general section, oil accounted for the highest, proportion. Specifically, um, the most of the energy derived from oil, um, making up 42% of all in 1980. And so most of the energy derived from oil, made up 42% of all energy generated from different sources, various, let's say, sources in 2080. And this this, let's say, proportion again, fell by nearly, or precisely, let's say, precisely, because it is very specific percentage. So we have to um, deduct, let's say, we have to deduct 33% from 42%. So it equals to, let's say, 9, yes, precisely 9%. Um, okay, before reaching, or you may simply paraphrase that part. Specifically, most of the energy derived from oil, which made up, actually, I omitted, which made up 42% of all energy generated from various sources in 1980, and this proportion fell by precisely 9% before reaching 1990. So I'm comparing, yes, two data sets here, and I again start with just moving on to the next source of energy, which is coal, right? Coal accounted or comprised, you may say, rise it 22% of energy, all energy. So 22% of all energy produced, and let's say you may say people combusted more coal than next period. 8%. So, coal as a source comprises 22% of all energy produced, and people combusted more coal in the next period. So, I should highlight this part. People combusted more coal, and I am, you know, parentheses. I'm using parentheses in order to write my percentage. So why it is important? Let's say you don't want to, describe the pie chart, but you want to use your own words, such as whether people, it is evident that people actually burn coal in order to generate energy. So you want to write this. It is logically like this. So you want to write like this. And you can just do it like mine. Just I highlighted this section. People combusted more coal in the next period. So that means people actually used more coal in the next period. But I cannot say like people combusted more coal in the next period, which accounted for 27%. So it is going to be wrong. So that is the correct way of just using, um, right way of using percentage when writing. So, and lastly, I have to describe the changes within the usage of, what is that? The next thing is natural gas. Yes, natural gas also mirrored a similar pattern that of coal, but in reverse. So natural gas also mirrored a similar pattern that of coal, but in reverse. So natural gas, that means the natural gas usage. I mean, the people who use natural gas, people who combust on natural gas to generate power, also, you know, showed the similar way of trajectory, the trend, but it is totally different. Instead, it, as you can see, decrease it, but coal increase it, right? So that's why I am saying also mirrored a similar pattern that of coal, but in reverse. So that is a great way of introducing the upcoming sentence about energy. So basically, that's everything that I wanted to share with you right now. As of now, I mean, so in the upcoming video, if you like my video, I'm gonna be writing. I'm gonna be continuing writing this, finishing this part one report. I'm gonna be also uploading it as actual mark examined by examiners, IELTS examiners from actual examiner. So stay tuned and keep watching my videos if you like it. Um, I wanted you to support by sharing it with other people, just to encourage me to further upload the next compilation of videos in the future. So stay tuned and keep yourself safe. Goodbye.